Now I'm taking a tape measure and I'm going to hook right here, right where the control arm goes. And I'm going to pull it back here to a tram hole in the body. And I'm measuring. I have 62 here. Make sure you crisscross when you do this to make sure the front end is square. $62 again.
So we're right on the money?
Right on the money. We can tighten it up right where it's at.
Nothing like being on the money, huh, John?
And now you can come in here and tighten up your body mounts and secure them tight to the car.
You know, we're getting ready to assemble the front end, and it's amazing to look at the craftsmanship that comes out of Smith Racecraft. I mean, you can look at these bushings right here, and you can see all the CNC work that's been done to them. Now let's go over to Nick and see him install them. Nick?
Yep, I'm gonna put them in right now, Al. Make sure you put this one on top. You both can drop through.
Is there any certain torque spec or anything that we tighten down to?
I would suggest probably about 40 pounds and probably 65 on the body bolts in the back.
Hey Nick, probably a good idea maybe to double check those measurements to make sure that frame's square. What do you think?
John, right on top. I got the tape measure. We're gonna go down there and do that right now.
Let's double check, measure 3 times, cut once.
Yep, 4 times.
Chuck and Joel.
62 again. Okay. You know, it's right on the money.
Well, at this point, we're getting ready to adjust and make adjustments and apply the firewall support brackets. Very crucial, these brackets are, to the strength of this front end, as they've told us from Smith Racecraft. So we'll watch Nick over here make some adjustments and get ready, and he'll probably have this thing done in a few moments. You can see him spinning the eyelid out to make sure he gets a snug fit inside the bracket area. You like that fit, Nick?
Yep.
Nick, what is the next step after you fit in the support bracket as tight as you have?
Well, after adjusting the rod end in here, I would suggest making sure that this is level, straight up and down. And then if you have centering punches or a drift punch or anything, go ahead and knock these in, and then you have to take a drill and drill your holes and put your bolts in.
What about this up here, the cowl?
You will have to remove your wipers. If you have wiper arms on your car, remove them. And you got a couple screws up here.
And then we can show that this thing comes right out
Right
after
out
you...
without touching the trim. You can take that off. If you'll take that out, thank you. Then you'll be able to get through here with your hand and a wrench to tighten up these nuts after we're done putting these in.
Nick, what are you doing now?
Well, now I'm removing the hood hinges.
We've loosened them up, and obviously they're in the way of drilling through the plates, the support plates.
Yep, no big deal. Just 2 bolts, 9/16. Just undo them, take them out. And now I'm going to insert this bolt here so the plate doesn't wander around too much when we're drilling the other bolt holes. So now it won't spin around on you.
Nick, I noticed the top holes were much easier. Is there a couple layers on the bottom level?
Yeah, there's 2 layers of sheet metal here.
So hang on to the drill.
Hang on to the drill, otherwise you'll be like me missing 2 teeth.
Wow, I'll tell you, that seems to be the toughest part of the job so far, is drilling those bottom holes.
Well, Al, now that we have all the holes drilled, we have to put this backing plate in here to give it more strength, which you just insert it through here. And I suggest you put 1 bolt in just to grab it with that. You kind of got to go in there blind a little bit to find it.
You notice these 2 backing plates, they go behind the firewall to support the strut rod. Some Novas on the passenger side may require some trimming. You notice the difference in height. Some Novas will take the full plate that you get from Smith Racecraft, and some may not. So your car may be different than this. On this particular car, this Alabama Tucci car, we had to trim this plate.
Now that you've got all the 4 bolts and the support bracket on the firewall, what's next?
Well, you take this bolt here and stick it in here, and you might have to apply a little bit of pressure to the front part of it, down, and it'll should go right in. Just like that.
Then put the nut on the other side, tighten it up, and you're ready to go.
Tighten it up. You can, if you want to torque it, you can torque this thing probably to 100 pounds.
And the same application would be for the driver's side too.
Yep. Now don't forget to lock down your jam nut.
Nick, now that we have the firewall assembly done, we're going to go into the steering here, and that is kind of unique, as you guys pointed out in our pre-ceremony of explaining this front end. Tell us what you're about to do.
Well, I've pre-drilled a hole here after I cut my rag joint off.
That's the part that probably everyone at home said, what's he doing that for?
Oh, I'm sure they were. And then you insert this piece of molly tubing that comes with your kit. Make sure the hole is down, that he drills in it. Then you can pick up your steering shaft and insert them together.
That explains why it's already pre-drilled. It's ready to go into his end of his steering shaft.
Slip the bolt in. Put the nut on the other side. Then
Wow.
you can swing this collar up.
Now you're assembling the frame bracket bolt.
Yep, this is a column support here.
God, you make that look easy. Well, now that the steering bracket is tight for their stock location on their frame, you have that hole up back here in the stock location that you drilled, but you don't recommend drilling that hole until you make sure that everything is aligned. The steering wheel, your front tires, your rack support and everything. You want to make sure everything is square and in the right position, right?
Yep, in center. Make sure your rack is in center of left to right, and make sure your steering wheel is in center.
So this is something that we'll come back to later on.
Yes.
Good.
Al, I'd like to point out something here. Look at the clearance that you have for the headers. Notice how it's snug up against the frame? That's usually a problem with most header installations, completely out of the way.
It's incredible. I mean, just to see the room in there. I mean, Nick's not too big of a guy, but man, when you can see this big block coming to life in here, I can already visualize it. You know, we're getting ready to install the front motor plate so you guys at home can see how it's done. And we were pointing out at the beginning of the program how well designed and built the guys at Smith Racecraft made these aluminum brackets, and you can see the scalloping in the aluminum. It's incredible. And again, we point out this can be for a small block or big block application. You just let them know down at Smith Racecraft what your application will be. Nick, they're pretty trick, aren't they?
Yeah, basically, these are for a big block application. To go to a small block application, you would remove this. They would change the front motor plate, and it would all bolt in. Or you can order this with the big block and have your own motor plate and swap them.
Let's bolt it in and show them. Well, we're getting pretty close to wrapping this deal up with our brand new front end installation on the Chevrolet Nova. You know, we've got brakes to put on this thing, and we're using an aftermarket brake. If you're using your application off your stock brakes, feel free to put the thing back together, get your spindles on, get your tires on, and get it on the ground. We're going to put the bumper on this thing, kind of wrap it up, but right now, I just want to take my hat off to the guys at Smith Racecraft. This is an incredible piece. We've shown you in this video that it is very, very doable at home. That's one of the most important things. So let's go to the bumper application and wrap this deal up for the day. Well, John, let's get the bumper back into the stock location with our new front end here and see how things work out. There we go. Got it, Nick? Well, guys, awesome. Look how beautiful. That is the ultimate front end. A little bit of trimming from the driver's side fender well. We got it to fit as we did the passenger side. Nick from Tucci Performance, you got to be excited. What do you think of the Smith Racecraft front end?
Oh yeah, I couldn't be more excited than this. It looks great in there. Minor work, bolted it right in. I think if you had two of your buddies come over and give you a hand, you could have this thing back together in a day.
You recommend them at your own shop?
Definitely.
Well, John, you know, you're a big part of Smith Racecraft and the marketing all over the nation. You got to live it again. Your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of guys, I don't know if you think about this for a minute, Al, they pay attention to the back of the car. This is truly an innovative piece for the front of the car because it's just as important as the rear, if not more important, because this is where you steer from. The strength is here, the bump steer is fixed, the engine's easy to put in, easy to get out. We didn't say that before, but it's just a snap to put a motor in. Lots of header clearance, safe braking, lots of front end travel, everything that you could want in a front end. This is truly the ultimate front end.
Well, guys, you guys want to get a bite to eat, a beer or something? You can see who's the dirtiest here. I mean, John obviously was just drinking coffee all day.
Okay, Al.
Let's go out and get ourselves something.